Professor Hune introduce me.
Welcome to the 2025 Sustainability Showcase. I'm Melanie Lyons. I'm the director of the Annual Fund and Major Giving at Calvin University. And I've had the privilege for nearly a decade of managing the Calvin Annual Fund program which impacts nearly every area of campus, including the Calvin Energy Recovery Fund. For those of you who don't know what the Calvin Energy Recovery Fund is, its purpose is to pursue our calling to be stewards of God's creation by implementing a process through which Calvin's campus can promote and realize a goal of energy stewardship and accommodate renewable and sustainable energy and cost savings projects. SURF began as a student-proposed effort in September of 2009, in large part due to Professor Hune's advocacy. So I want to give a shout out to Professor Hune. Whoop, whoop. And 6 months later, Calvin's Environmental and Energy Sustainability Committee approved policies governing SURF. To give you some perspective, the very first project reduced electricity usage on campus by automatically putting computers to sleep when not in use. With thousands of computers on campus, times have changed a bit. This added up to a significant savings. Dozens of projects have been approved since then, saving Calvin more money and increasing efficiencies across campus. And today, through donations and reinvested savings from these projects, the account is at nearly $488,000. Pretty amazing. So, to those of you who have ever made a gift to SURF, and I know there are some of you in this room, thank you for your investment. Your gifts have funded amazing projects, and that ROI has been reinvested into more and more sustainability projects on campus. And for those of you who have not ever made a gift to SURF yet, I encourage you to think about investing in this fund as it invests in our students, our campus, and in God's creation. Today, you'll hear from a couple of our SURF interns, Jack Klopp and Sophie Schumerth, about the incredible impact of their upcoming projects. Before I introduce them, I'd like to thank E3M Solutions for their sponsorship of today's program. I don't know if I've seen, is Eric here? I don't think so. Eric DeVries is a graduate of Calvin and the president of E3M Solutions. It's a local engineering and energy firm dedicated to doing better for their clients and for the world around us. Through data, technology, and expertise, they provide assessments, consulting expertise, and energy engineering support at exactly the scale their clients need, from one-time design to full scale. So please join me in thanking E3M for being our partner today. Before we get to the main event, a reminder that following Jack and Sophie's presentation, there will be time for Q&A, so get those questions ready. And following the Q&A, please join us in the lobby for the poster presentations and refreshments. And also, I was told, students, remember to take your posters home with you. And now I'd like to introduce you to our presenters today. Sophie Schumerth is a junior studying civil and environmental engineering at Calvin with a sustainability designation and planning for a certificate in GIS. She cares deeply about respecting and reconciling human and non-human creation through personal initiative and community action. Sophie is a Calvin Energy Recovery Fund intern and meets with the Calvin's Energy, Environment, and Sustainability Committee. Through SURF, Sophie has had the opportunity to work on projects that reduce energy use on campus and has found joy in taking actionable steps towards sustainability in this place where she lives, works, and interns. She hopes to give back to cross-country, track, outdoor recreation, and the other campus communities that have poured into her and continue to foster environmental and social sustainability. Let's give it up for Sophie. Jack is a junior at Calvin University, studying civil and environmental engineering with a passion for environmental justice, sustainable systems, and community-based change. As the Student Sustainability Coordinator Director, he leads a team of students working on initiatives across campus, from improving recycling and composting systems to organizing events like the Earth Day Fair and farmers markets. Jack is also a surf intern and serves on the Environmental and Energy Sustainability Committee. He finds joy in biking, backpacking, and cultivating connections between people and place. For Jack, sustainability is about faithful stewardship and cooperation, partnering with others to pursue justice, resilience, and hope. Please join me in welcoming Jack and Sophie to the stage.
Hello, everyone. We're Jack and Sophie, and we are here to tell you about the Calvin Energy Recovery Fund, so thank you for joining us.
Okay, so I want you to imagine this. Imagine you had the opportunity to drive a nicer car, to live in a more comfortable home, or to even ride a nicer bike. I know personally that would be my choice, but I want to explain to you that this is something that you can get paid to do. This is the magic of surf and energy efficiency at Calvin University. We have the opportunity to live in a more energy efficient, more comfortable university by actually getting paid to do it with these investments through the Calvin Energy Recovery Fund.
So what is SURF? SURF is the Calvin Energy Recovery Fund. It is a green revolving fund. It started in 2009, like Melanie said, with a small lump of money, and that money is only to be used for projects on campus that will reduce the energy cost. And the money that is saved from the electricity bill is put back into the fund to pay back whatever project that was used, and then an additional 5 years for that project. So the fund continues to grow and can keep being used for energy efficiency projects. And in this way, it prevents economic rebound that can lead to, from energy savings and the cost associated with that being used for something that would actually use more energy. And it is student-driven. We are the interns, and the other interns are also students. It's administrative supported. We report to Brett in facilities and also to the EESC board that is made of faculty and staff here on campus.
So it's a great system, but you might be asking, why does this matter to me? SURF has the opportunity to reduce Calvin's environmental impact and our carbon emissions. We can do this through energy efficiency projects like relighting buildings or some of the projects we'll talk about in a minute. And it also provides real-world opportunities and experience for students like Sophie and I to work on projects that we might have the chance to work on in our future careers. We're able to implement some of the things that we've learned in the classroom and take it to the real world and install those projects. Not only does it provide a great experience and opportunity for the SURF interns, but it also saves the university thousands of dollars annually. We're actually working to install a project right now that will save the university $80,000 annually, and that's with no additional cost to you students or faculty, and nowhere except from the SURF budget that will be taking that money. It also empowers students like us. We get the opportunity to be up here today presenting to you guys to see these projects implemented and continue to grow in our careers. Along with this, it is a way that we can act out our faith as Christians. We are gifted creation and called to steward it, so we can do this in a way that is respectful and uses those resources in a way that can continue to provide for future generations.
So some of the recent SURF projects that we're going to tell you about is there is a new solar array that was installed right before Easter on the facilities building right across from Lot 8 by Mail Services and Campus Safety. And we were able to help with the installation of that. And then in June is going to be installed a variable frequency drive. It regulates the HVAC efficiency here on campus, and that's going to go on the chiller at Commons. And then in the past, there's been a lot of lighting efficiency upgrades as far as changing the bulbs from incandescence to LED and also making them work from motion sensor, so they're only on when the room is being occupied, which is a great way to reduce the energy here that we use.
So I want to share a little bit more about the facilities solar array. This project was super exciting, a really great opportunity for Sophie and I. As you can see, we were even up on the roof installing the solar panels. We made sure to follow all of the OSHA regulations. We kept our distance from the edge. Even though Sophie and I are climbers, we asked to boulder up, but they had us take the ladder. But this is the largest solar panel array in Calvin's history. There's a couple on our campus right now, one on top of Bunker Interpretive Center, and some defunct ones actually on top of DeVries Hall that we're working with the freshmen to get back up and running. But this is a big step for our university. It is a 35 kilowatt array, and it will power around 45 to 60% of the facilities building energy. And this was also installed by Sophie and I. We got the hands-on experience of putting in the solar panels and seeing how the inverters is all wired up. So that was a really great opportunity for us. We had a lot of fun with that. This project not only has environmental benefits, but it also has a quick 7-year payback period. So this means that the project will pay for itself with the cost savings from the energy bill within those 7 years of being installed. And as Sophie mentioned, 5 years after that, the savings will go back into the SURF project fund. So we would hope to be continuing solar panel around campus and continue to invest in this. We were also able to secure $20,000 in rebates, which was a game changer in this project. It really helped alleviate the cost. And we're really grateful for working with consumers and some of the other organizations that were able to help us streamline the process. This took about really just a couple months for us from the installation, from the idea to installation. We thought about it back in the fall semester, and we're able to have it all installed just in a couple months. So that was really great that we were able to work through that. We were also supported from the other students on campus and teams like the Engineering 333 class that looked at the feasibility of a solar farm. So we're really grateful for those groups as well.
The next one that we're going to talk about is the VFD project. The variable frequency drive, it goes onto the chiller. The chiller is on the lower picture, and then the VFD is the higher one. And so what a VFD does is it modulates the load on any chiller, and the chiller is what we use for AC in all of our academic buildings, and it is the largest energy draw on campus. There's 4 of them currently, and they use 45% of all campus energy for the entire year. So adding this VFD, modulating the load, is better for the equipment and its longevity, and it also reduces the energy that any of the chillers are going to use. So for the Commons one, that is going to lead to a 10% reduction in energy used for that chiller for the year. And our vision would eventually be to put them on all 4 chillers, and then that would reduce all energy on campus by 45%. So couple that with some of the other projects that Jack was talking about, like solar or anything that happens in the future, and we would get a lot closer to Calvin's carbon neutrality goal and just having a lower carbon impact. It also leads to a huge cost savings for Calvin. It has a 3-year payback, and so even though it is an incredibly expensive machine, it pays itself back very quickly. And then with the 5 years after that, the SURF fund is allowed to grow immensely. So here is a graph that shows the costs and savings of all the large projects that SURF has ever done. So on the left side is a lot that happened pre-COVID. There's a lot of lighting efficiency changing from LED, or changing to LED, and then some of some water savings, low flow shower heads in the dorms. But on the right there is where we see the VFD in the facility solar array. So the VFD drops way lower than any of the previous graphs, and that's because of it being the most expensive, but it also has the steepest slope, and that is because it pays itself back the quickest and has the most savings per year. This is the one that Jack alluded to that has $80,000 in cost savings per year for Calvin, and so over the 3 years and then the 5 years after that is going to be huge for the SURF fund.
So yeah, these projects are really exciting, and there's huge cost savings. But not only that and the environmental benefits, there's also lessons learned for us as students. Some of the 3 things I wanted to share with you guys is first, collaboration and the importance of working with different teams on campus. We worked really closely with facilities, and Brett, our SURF manager, he was instrumental in making these projects happen, and we're super grateful for Brett. He's a really cool guy if you haven't met him yet. And we also really worked with the administration and faculty. We presented these ideas, as Sophie said, to the EESC board, and we were able to troubleshoot and figure out any things that would make the projects better by talking with them, and that was immensely helpful as well for us to get approval and better ideas from them. And then also from students like you guys. We were really grateful to hear all of the support that you guys had for solar panels and wanting to see a more energy efficient campus. And as well with that was the Engineering 333 class looking last semester at the feasibility of a solar farm on campus. We're really grateful for you guys doing that work. We were able to look at some of the structural on the buildings and to see where the best spots for an array would be. So we're going to be using that going forward for future arrays. So thank you guys. The second lesson is finding and applying for rebates. That was huge for the solar project and also the VFD. That really helped with the cost and makes the payback period of these projects even faster than projected. So looking for those rebates, working with teams, and finding those was really helpful for the SURF team. The third is clear communication and the importance of clearly communicating our ideas to make these projects happen. We were able to talk with the EESC and facilities to really understand how these projects would benefit campus the most. I wanted to also say that sometimes in engineering classes, we focus on the calculations and the feasibility of it, but a lot of times it really comes down to communicating these ideas effectively to make them happen. So we learned the importance of that through a lot of these projects and are grateful for that moment too. So you were talking about all these great things that's happening for SURF right now, but what's happening next? As you can see, we installed the solar panels, but we want to do more. It has such a great payback time and has a great message as well for other universities as an example of how to be more energy efficient and have renewable energy on your campus. So we'll hope to continue utilizing the roofs on campus for more solar panel arrays. The other thing is that we want to continue doing student-led energy audits. We'll be tracking these projects closely for the first 5 years and payback period to make sure that they all are running smoothly and that the cost savings are coming out effectively. So that is something that we'll continue doing as the SURF team has done in the past. And then we'll also want to hear from you students for new project proposal ideas and hear what you guys would be interested in seeing happen on our campus. Along with this, a new project that we're working on is a campus-wide recycling initiative. So I'm sure you guys know that right now there's not very much accessible recycling on our campus. There's the one bin over by the field house, but even if you're in the dorms, that feels like a long walk to get there. So as a SURF team, we're going to be working with the new interns to do more bins around campus and then also monitor those bins and see how the collection process continues to do as we go forward.
And there are opportunities for SURF to go beyond Calvin. The model of SURF as a green revolving fund being used for energy efficiency projects can really be applied to a lot of other contexts. In fact, Hope started their own energy revolving fund in 2022, and they're starting to get into some other projects, and we've been able to help them and communicate with them about what that could look like. The rivalry is definitely prominent, but in some ways it's very helpful, like for sustainability, such as the kilowatt competition that just finished. That was really helpful for both of our campuses, in the dorm specifically, to reduce the energy usage. And so being able to also have these comparable funds with the similar idea is really a good thing for both of us to be able to move forward to a more sustainable campus. And next week, the two of us and a student from Hope are presenting at the Michigan Energy Summit, talking about how campuses and other groups can do more with energy savings and sustainability. So we're going to be talking about SURF and also Kilowatt, because both of those are things that have happened on our campuses and are getting across to other local businesses and companies and other institutions, what theirs could look like as well. And so this could be adopted and adapted really beyond Calvin to churches or to really anything at all, showing that if you set aside a bit of money and use that only for energy efficiency projects, that will grow itself. It's really an easy way to implement these sustainable ideas and projects in a tangible way.
So yeah, you might be wondering, how can I get involved? There's a couple ways to work with our team. One is that you can join the SURF team. We just finished our application process for next year, but Sophie and I are graduating next year and sadly cannot continue working with SURF. But there will be openings for new SURF interns, so apply next year. Or you can also bring your ideas for new sustainability initiatives to our team. Our door is always open. You can reach out to us by email, and we'd love to talk with you and try to make those project ideas happen. Along with this, we'd love to have help with volunteers installing future projects, and love to work with the student body to work on these projects that make our campus more efficient. Along with this, you guys are stakeholders at Calvin. As students, you guys are the clients of the university, so you can use your voice to advocate for sustainability funding and show that that's something that you guys care about, and use your voice as students.
And we also wanted to thank all of the previous SURF interns, since this has been going on since 2009. We would not be where we are today without everything that has gone into it beforehand that has allowed it to grow to where it is now. The work of all of the previous interns and everyone that has ever worked with SURF laid the foundation for where we are. Every LED retrofit and audit and project and meeting and proposal, it all mattered to get where we are today. All of that led monetarily to have the amount of money that's in the fund today that leads to the larger projects that we're able to do now, but also everything, all of the buy-in that has happened is because of that. And so we're excited to be able to continue that legacy and leave what we have done for other generations to continue SURF at Calvin and sustainability moving forward.
And a closing thought, as Christians at this university, the work that we do is based in our faith. So I want to share this passage from Psalms. The earth is the Lord's and everything in it. This is a reminder to us that creation is a gift to us, and we are called to steward it in a way that is responsible and ensures the thriving of future generations. With SURF, we have an opportunity to do this in a way that is joyful. Sophie and I were super excited to get up on the roof a couple of weeks ago and install those solar panels. We also have an opportunity to do this in a wise way. We can utilize resources like the sun and harvest that energy for our university, and can make our university more energy efficient through projects like we've done. And then we can do this in a way that is bold as well. We can take that step and make the change that we want to see and be a model for other universities as well.
Yes, we want to thank you again all for coming out, and here's some ways that you can stay connected with us. Our email is there, and then to get connected with Calvin Sustainability in a larger sense, you can follow the Instagram or some other student committees, Earth Keepers, and the sustainability coordinators. And thank you all for investing in Calvin's future of sustainability and for your amazing work that we get to look at on the posters.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jack and Sophie. As a member of the EESC board, and I can see some of my fellow board members in here, when Jack and Sophie and the SURF interns came to us and presented these projects and they were finally approved by our board, there was loud cheering in the room. We were very, very excited about this. So now it is time for Q&A. I'll repeat some of the questions if we can't hear them up here, but please raise your hand if you have one. Do not be bashful.
You mentioned that you had some collaborations with classes like the 333 class. Do you see any future opportunities to partner with classes at Calvin?
Okay, so the question for those of you that couldn't hear it, they talked about collaborating with the, what was it, engineering 333? Wondering if there are any other classes they foresee collaborating with.
And I think it also is a great idea. We were able to look at the plans for Engineering 333's designs and seeing where the best options are for solar on our campus, and that was immensely helpful for starting our project and going forward. I think it would be a great opportunity to collab with the Sustainability Action Workshop and the fellows in the cohort to look into recycling, composting, and see how our waste management systems on campus could be improved. I'm really excited to read your guys' posters today and get some more ideas for how SURF can be involved with your guys' work.
Yeah.
What does the auditing process look like? You know, use that word multiple times, but for like, I don't know.
For projects? Yeah, so the question is, what does the auditing process look like for projects?
Yeah, so for each project, we have a baseline of data that we collect for what it was before the project, whatever energy that was used for that. And then we collect data for the duration of the project until it pays itself back in then the 5 years. So there's data collection during that entire time. And then based off of the electricity bill and the average cost of electricity at that time is what we get paid back. So we report all of the data that we have back to the EESC board, and then they will approve that, and then we get the money put back in our fund. There's a lot of transparency there.
And is the same like set fund, like the same amount that you got from the beginning, or it grows over time with the?
So she's asking about the growth of SURF. Is it the same, or does it keep growing?
SURF continues to grow as the projects pay for themselves. The cost attributed to the energy saved, I think, is the same each time. Yeah.
You can see on the graph as well with the VFD, once it crosses that line is when it pays itself back. And then the 5 years after that, all of that money made goes back into the SURF fund. So that's a really exciting project for us. We're super excited to bring that to campus.
Yeah.
How did you find out that the VFDs would have such a big impact, and how did you discover that project?
So the question is, how did they discover the VFD drive project?
Yeah, that really started with talking with facilities. They have a wonderful in-depth knowledge of the campus and all of the inner workings and where there's the most need on campus right now. So Brett brought the idea to us actually and shared that the VFD would have the huge cost savings. When Sophie and I heard that if we were able to replace all of the chillers on campus and add VFDs in, that it would cut energy consumption of the entire campus by 45%, we felt like that was a no-brainer and that we would love to pursue that project. But really it started with clear communication and the knowledge from the facilities team of campus.
Could you hear that?
Yeah.
I think timeline, right?
Yeah, and like how much time you spend doing different things.
Sure. Got it.
Do you want to take it, Sophie?
Yeah, it's a pretty dynamic thing. We have weekly meetings, and then once a month we meet with the EESC board, and in between it's kind of up to us to divvy out that time. There is a lot of time in between usually when a project is approved and then when we order and when the materials arrive. So during that period is when we can do a lot of the applying for rebates and looking for other projects and kind of pursuing what that could look like on the campus. There isn't really a strict division of the time, but it's what we think would be most beneficial that week to moving forward.
Yeah.
What have been some of the greatest hurdles with implementing some of these recent projects, as for instance, part of the 333 class? So I know what we faced for solar, but what are some challenges you guys faced?
Yeah, so the question was, what were some of their biggest hurdles or challenges that they faced?
Yeah, so with the solar panel project, we did have to look at a couple different suppliers and options for pricing. We learned actually from the CFO of Calvin that you never accept the first price. You always got to look at other options to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible. It turned out that Brett has some good friends with the Energy Conservation Core team, and they offered us a really good price for that. But it also was a long process to wait for approval from Consumers Energy, and then also now we're still in the process. We have them all installed, but we're now getting it approved from an electrician to make sure that it can sync with the grid system to make sure that it's not going to cause any problems.
Yes, back here.
Could you, I guess, explain more about the interaction with Consumers Energy and how they played a role in this process?
Yeah, so the question is about their interaction with Consumers Energy and what role they played in this process.
Yeah, so last year around this time we had a meeting with the consumers representatives for Calvin, and we kind of built, the two of us, built that relationship with them a little better, which they've had with the rest of Calvin for a really long time. So it's been they're very transparent with their communication, and so we are able to talk to them regularly, and so they were able, when we applied for custom rebates for the VFD or the rebates for the solar, they report back like what we need to show them, and then they are able to reply what we're able to get from that.
Back here.
How does recycling fit into the Calvin Energy Recovery Fund's framework in a sense? Because when I think of SURF, I think of energy-related projects. You collect savings, and then those savings go back into future projects. And recycling potentially would more be a cost without a saving. It's a very honorable thing, but I'm just curious how that became one of the considerations of you guys.
That is a great question. Yeah, so I think that is also a common misconception that recycling is waste, but it actually is another form of energy. So it does fall into our view of the energy recovery that we can do here on Calvin's campus, but it actually falls into a different project category than the other projects that have since we described and have happened at Calvin. So in the SURF Constitution, there's a split for projects that we do. There's 80% that goes towards blue projects, which are projects that pay themselves off in 10 years or less. And then there's 20% that goes towards green projects, which are projects that don't have a payback date. This would fall into a green project category and wouldn't have a payback period within those 10 years, but it's something that we could do to improve the sustainability of our campus in that way.
Yes, Tom.
So students are super busy. What inspires you to spend your time working on sustainability and stuff like this?
So in their busy schedules, what inspires them to invest their time in SURF?
I think it's something that we both feel very passionately about, and we feel very motivated to do it because of that. And I think we find fulfillment as one of the things that we do on campus. So it's really important for us to implement it amongst all the other things, and being able to impact the campus in this way and also to be more sustainable is something that I think brings more light and joy to the other aspects that we do. And so not doing it, I think, would be a major deficit to what else we do on campus. Yeah,
Sophie and I would both say that the solar panel installation day was probably the highlight of our Calvin career so far. That was so exciting to see the project that we planned and dreamt of actually being implemented. We're forever grateful for that opportunity.
Any other questions? Okay, let's give Jack and Sophie another round of applause. Okay, you're welcome to join us in the lobby for refreshments and to look at the student posters. Thank you for coming.
Shout out to Hune for doing the clicking because this didn't click.